Let me know in the chat. Oh, brother BKL there. All right, good stuff. Sorry about that, guys. Well, I guess we'll start over from this point. Thanks for joining me. Mike Guglielmi, Sons of a Pitch, an American Soccer Podcast. Thanks so much for joining. Sorry for the technical issues here. Season 4 is upon us. We have finally made it, and it is all thanks to you guys, the listeners, the viewers, everybody else that has been part of, especially the members here on YouTube. The guys have been amazing helping out here, and even so much as to let me know that my damn microphone is not working. So thank you guys for that. And we're underway. Season 4, the season officially started today, so we've made it to season number 4. Now let's get right into the action on this episode. We're going to be talking about the Week 1 roundup and recap. MLS is going to MLS. Let me tell you, lots of different matchups on this week that not a lot of people expected the results to be what they were. We're going to do a new segment every weekly winners and losers. So I'll review my Week 1 winners and losers for this one, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the best games to look for next week on the schedule. And if time allows, maybe we'll put a little spin on the European Super League that has everybody all up in arms about that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. First things first, let's get underway with the Houston Dynamo and San Jose Earthquakes on Friday night. What a game this was. 2-1 victory for the Houston Dynamo. Goals by Memo Rodriguez and Maxi Urruti for Houston. And then we've got San Jose's goal was Paul Marie in the 74th minute. What a shot from Paul Marie. This one should be up for goal of the week. A great shot there. Overall, the stats in this one, you've got possession was actually held by San Jose 60% to 40%. But the total shots, there was a big time discrepancy. Houston with 17 shots to San Jose's 8. So a big time difference there. Houston owning the beginning part of the game, and San Jose starting to come back and get even better going through towards the end of the game. So a good result now for Houston, which is going to be an interesting season for Houston. This team, they've got Tab Ramos. He needs to have a good year this year. And from what I'm seeing, I don't expect Houston to be a big-time MLS contender for MLS Cup, but I do see this team possibly getting in to a playoff position and fighting for one of those last playoff positions in the West. So, Jose Mira, how you doing, man? Jumping on YouTube here. Who do you got for goal of the week? We'll have to talk about that a little bit later after I review all of these, but might have been at the game you were at. We'll talk about that one too. So now moving on to the next game, Seattle and Minnesota, where we did the live stream reaction, watch along, hangout, and Jose Mira was actually at the game there. It was pretty cool. He was on the live stream with us from Lumen Field. Pretty cool. And Seattle, wow, what a showing by the Seattle Sounders. 4-0 victory. João Paulo in the 49th minute got the scoring underway with exactly what Jose was talking about there. Possible goal of the week contender. Unbelievable touch up to himself and then a volley to smash it home. One of the nicest goals you will ever see. Rui Diaz with 2 in 3 minutes, 70th and 73rd minute. And then Freddie Montero, yes, Mr. Freddie Montero, has not played for the Sounders since 2012, the all-time Sounders leading goal scorer, and he gets a goal right off the bat. Just had subbed into the game. Probably, God, when did he come into the game? He came in the 72nd minute. 14 minutes later, he puts one behind the keeper for Minnesota, who had a rough night. And really wasn't much he could do about all of the goals. Great game from the Sounders. And everybody was like, oh, yeah, Sounders down year this year for the Sounders because they lost Jordan Morris. They moved on from a couple pieces. Yeah, not so fast. This was even without Nico Ladero, and still end up walking out of Lumen Field with a big-time statement victory over Minnesota United. Stats in this one: possession, it turns out to be about 50-50. I thought it was more than that for Seattle. Total shots, 17 apiece. Shots on goal, 9-5 for Seattle. So a good one there from Seattle. And brother BKL says, yep, Seattle Sounders came sloppy in the first half, but thank goodness Seattle came back to town. They sure did. They started out rough, but man, did they ever turn it on in that second half. So moving into Saturday's games, first game up of the day, Montreal CF, Montreal Snowflakes, and Toronto FC from Inter Miami Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, isn't that kind of weird? Well, it was, and Montreal came out and made a huge statement against Toronto FC, winning 4-2. TFC looked like complete trash, and I don't know exactly what the culprit of that was. If we're talking it's because of the Champions League victory over Lyon. They came in and they were just tired. They're weary because they are missing a lot of guys due to injury. Again, this team is missing Alejandro Pozuelo, the reigning MLS MVP. They're missing Josie Altidore. They're missing Ayo Akinola. They're starting Patrick Mullins up top. They're missing Chris Mavinga at the back. They're missing a lot of pieces. They're starting goalkeeper Quentin Westberg. So I don't know if it's exactly what exactly the cause for this was, but it was disgusting. I have never seen Toronto FC play so poorly in all my life. They were on the field. It looked like they were literally there to get a jog in and have a training session. They were not playing a game. And it started 3 minutes in, Mason Toye from Montreal getting the shot in. And how in God's name did they allow that goal so quickly? Mason Toye in the 3rd minute, Romel Kyoto in the 24th, Victor Wanyama in the 54th minute, and Jordi Mihailovic in the 71st. So John Donovan, if you're listening, when we spoke earlier this morning, you had stated, you asked me if Jordi Mihailovic scored, and I didn't think he did. I apparently had a little bit of a brain fart because, yes, he did score towards the end of the game, the 4th and final goal for Montreal. Joel Hampton is on. How you doing, Joel? Thanks for coming on and hanging out. And, man, TFC looked like complete trash. Marky Delgado gets the goal in the 45th minute for through a penalty kick, which it turns out Auro stepped up for the penalty kick, and the goalkeeper Diop came off the line for Montreal, and they let Toronto take it again. This time it was Marky Delgado, and he buried it for TFC's first goal. Then Richie Larea with a great individual run to make it 4-2 towards the end of the game. But at that point, the game was over. So TFC just has to regroup, get ready for Vancouver in the next game, and then they'll focus on the Champions League up against Cruz Azul. But yes, Jose says you can tell that Toronto was overworked. Definitely the Champions League was at fault. I agree. Having the Champions League game just a few days before that definitely did assist on that. But the injuries being out are tough. Brother BKL, okay, and I quote, CF Montreal is weak in last season, but this season TFC came tired since CCL, and that's what happened. So I think we're on a consensus here of what exactly happened with TFC and Montreal. But, hey, Montreal, their backs are against the wall. They're fighting hard because this team, everybody's writing them off. Everybody, including me. I did too. I'll admit it. But they know they're underdogs, and they say even came out afterwards. They're like, come on, bring it. Please continue to not respect us, and we'll continue to show you how we will do. So a good victory there from Montreal over TFC. So the next game from the Eastern Conference, Orlando and Atlanta. This one goes to a 0-0 draw. Not much to speak of in this one other than Alexander Pato suffered a lower body injury. Apparently surgery is not required, so he won't be out too long, but I know they have some decent replacements with Vanderwater, the Dutch striker there to back him up, as well as some other, you got Benji Michel, and Teshu Akindele. Obviously, nobody likes Teshu Akindele because he hasn't done much for Orlando lately. But overall, they'll be fine, I think, with Pato going out. Hopefully, won't be too long for the Lions. This one, Atlanta kind of dominated the possession, 60% to 40. Total shots 11 all, shots on goal 3 apiece, and nothing to write home of. No cards, no goals in this one. So a very boring game for Orlando and Atlanta. Next, LAFC welcomes Austin FC for the first time in history. Austin FC plays their inaugural game at the Bank of California Stadium, and what a place to make your entry into the league, having to go and play there. A great tribute to the 3252 Vice President Mo Fascio in the opener. That was nice to see for that gentleman who unfortunately had passed during the offseason. And we got Jay Jardim on. How you doing, Jay? How's it going, man? And a good game from LAFC. Corey Baird with a goal in the 61st minute, followed up by Cifuentes with a goal in the first minute of stoppage time for LAFC. Nothing to write home for Austin. No goals yet for them. They'll have to wait for their first goal in their inaugural season. 55-44 possession for Austin FC, and shots on goal were 24-12 for LAFC as well, or total shots. Night, Sarah. Love you. And total shots on goal, though, were 9-3 for LAFC. LAFC did what they needed to do, but Austin FC did look good. This team did not look bad at all for being an expansion team. Remember, they are playing LAFC, who by some, including my own predictions, see them win MLS Cup this season, and so do the odds makers in Vegas as well. So, hey, we got Josue Fernandez is on. How you doing? And Brother BKL says, I'm glad I watched Austin FC's movement, and Alex Ring came incredible movement. He did. He was really had a great game. I love Alex Ring. I love him as a player. I'm annoyed that NYCFC got rid of him, but it's good for Austin. I mean, that's going to help move them up the standings. Alexander Ring is a very, very good central defensive midfielder, and we'll see with Austin and how they fare going in to next week. Because remember, they will be on the road a little bit to finish up the stadium and whatnot for their new stadium, that OQ2 stadium there in Austin, Texas. So next game up, speaking of New York City and Alexander Ring, New York City goes on the road to DC United at Audi Field and loses to DC United. Here's another one of those results where MLS is going to MLS, right? I mean, you've got a team like New York City who should go into DC and easily get a victory, loses to DC United from a goal from Heinz Ike in the 39th minute and Russell Canals in the 44th minute, after falling behind to New York City when Tati Castellanos scored for New York City. Now, I watched the end of this game, and I was really surprised with how well DC United was playing in this game. I did not expect much out of them. First game with the new coach, Hernan Losada, really looked good coaching this team and made a good move with Perez coming in for Yamil Assad. Really liked what I saw out of DC United. Andy Nahar, the old DC United player, comes back, and really liked what I saw out of DC. So again, there's no weak teams in the East. I think this was something that we saw in the Eastern Conference, a little bit in the Western Conference. We'll talk about that later. But you're seeing a lot of this where the teams that are projected to do bad ended up doing well. So I'm like, what's going on here? What gives? I mean, MLS, that's what you get with this parity type league, as well as the salary cap type league. You're going to have teams that are projected to not do well, and vice versa. There's nothing like the super clubs that we have over in Europe, which again, we'll touch on that later after the show. So make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end for that one. So news on the New York City front, how with Tati Castellanos, hopefully all goes well there. Apparently, we've got about another 24 hours left or so until the decision is made. But apparently, Tati Castellanos has asked New York City management or City Football Group to accept the offer to Palmeiras in Brazil. So he wants to go to Palmeiras and play in Brazil. And apparently, New York City doesn't want to let him go, but they said they'll give a decision within 48 hours starting yesterday. So we'll see we'll see if that actually comes through. So hopefully for MLS's sake, I don't want to see him lose a guy like Tati Castellanos, especially to a club like Palmeiras. Maybe going over to Europe, maybe with a commanding of a more of a transfer fee, maybe. But Tati Castellanos is a hell of a player in MLS, and you just hate to see the clubs losing guys like this, especially if it's not going to be a huge transfer fee. And there you go. Brother BKL was the one that brought that to my attention. So big ups to Brother BKL, shooting me all kinds of messages about New York City FC and what's going on with them. And so I appreciate that. And so big shout out there to Brother BKL. Jay Jardim said Brazil ain't the best place to be at the moment. Truth. That is very true. I don't know why he wants to be there. But hey, you know what? Everybody is entitled to their own thoughts there, I guess. All right, so now we move to Dallas and Colorado. This one, two kind of middle of the pack playoff teams in the West. Could be fighting for one of those last spots. You've got Luchi Gonzalez's Dallas, FC Dallas, and Robin Fraser's Colorado Rapids. This one, not much to speak about in this one. Only one yellow card, 0 goals, a 0-0 game. Just a preseason type of feel to this one from what I watched of it. Again, probably watched about 30 to 45 minutes of it, and it just seemed like they just were trying to get into the rhythms of playing a competitive match. Possession 55-43 for Dallas. Total shots 11-11, and then shots on goal, one more for Colorado with 6-5. Passing accuracy much better for Dallas, and one yellow card on Colorado on Cole Bassett. And other than that, not much to report there from that matchup. So we'll do one more game here before we head to our sponsor break. Since I lost about 5 minutes or so in the beginning of the show, I'll have to edit out since my microphone wasn't working. And that game, New York Red Bulls hosting Sporting Kansas City, an interconference clash. And this one didn't disappoint. This was a hell of a game. I really enjoyed watching this one. New York Red Bulls can't get the victory at home there. Gerhard Struber doesn't get the victory in his first game. Sporting Kansas City, one of the better teams in the Western Conference, pulls out the victory. And a great game, penalty kick for Gadi Kinda. And then 1 minute later, Daniel Shallowy with the second goal for Kansas City. New York Red Bulls. Goal again from who else but Caden Clark. This kid is amazing. I guarantee you, he does not last through the season with MLS and with New York Red Bulls. He'll be at Leipzig before probably during the summer window because this kid is amazing. The way he plays is unreal. I can't believe that he's still in this league. The kid comes up out of nowhere. Not really nowhere. I mean, everybody expected him to be a player, but kind of comes up out of nowhere, gets signed, and then scores a goal in his debut, scores a big-time game-winning goal against TFC. Now does it again on opening day for New York. It's kind of a shame seeing this kid, what seems to be wasting away at Red Bull. He's already proven himself here, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm a big proponent for a player, especially these young kids, to get their time in MLS and become a star there. But, like an Alphonso Davies route, right, where you get your time in MLS and then move forward to a team in Europe. Now, I don't expect this guy to go to Bayern Munich, but overall, I would love to see him move over to Europe now. I think he's definitely proven himself. Stats in this one, you've got possession was almost dead even, 51-49 for New York. Total shots, 12-8 for New York, and then shots on goal, 3 apiece. New York did seem to have more of the feeling of the game. I thought it was going to go New York's way, but a good, solid defensive opportunity there by Sporting Kansas City, and they did well with it. Brother BKL, Sporting Kansas City came incredible in the first and second half, but when I watched that incredible goal by Red Bulls in New York, it was a hell of a goal from Caden Clark. So Western Conference gets the better of the Eastern Conference in that matchup. So again, is the West stronger than the East? Or I don't know. We're not quite at that point yet. I can't really tell there. But yeah, before we get to our next game, we'll actually let John Donovan take that one. So we'll put that out on the podcast side and take a little sponsor break as well. All right, so overall, Chicago with the 2-2 draw against New England. Next game up, Nashville and Cincinnati. This one was a fun one to watch. Some great goals, especially one by Randall Leal in Nashville. This one's Cincinnati comes out strong right in the beginning of the game. Lucho Acosta in the 8th minute, followed by a Brenner penalty kick. Brenner is on the board for Cincinnati with the penalty in the 12th minute, and Cincinnati was out to a 2-0 lead. Everything was looking good. This was all right, Cincinnati, the signings, it's there, but Nashville's a damn good team. And just as a note, they did get 2 goals, Jonder Cadiz in the 20th minute, and then Randall Leal's big time goal in the second half in the 64th minute. But one thing that really stood out to me was expected goals. Nashville had the highest expected goals for MLS in week 1. So since he's actually pretty lucky to come out of there with the 2-2 draw with how well Nashville was playing. And I think both of these teams are going to be surprises in the Eastern Conference. Nashville, well, more so Cincinnati, they look good. They look decent. And they've got a lot of new players that I think are really going to help the team. So for me, I like Cincinnati, but Nashville's a damn good team. They've got depth all over the field. And I'll tell you, these guys, it's big. It's big. I think Nashville is going to do real well this year. Same thing with Cincinnati, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on some other teams in the Eastern Conference to get the job done. All right, we got a comment here. Jay Jardim, hey, Mike, congrats on the Manscaped sponsor for TSI. Yes, it is for TSI, but hey, you know what? We're still here. So, hey, just so you guys know, I'd like to share it with my Sons of a Pitch family as well. Big announcement on the Toronto Sports Insider channel. We have an agreement with Manscaped, a 1-month trial run, 20% off and free shipping for Manscaped products. 20% off. Use the discount code TSI. And yeah, there you go. Check it out. Go purchase some stuff. Take care of the boys, and they'll, that would be big, a big help here for Sons of a Pitch Soccer and Toronto Sports Insider. So thanks, Jay, for that comment there. And again, you can get anything off of Manscaped, 20% off. Use the promo or discount code TSI, and there you go. All right, so moving down the list here for the other games in the league so far for week 1, we'll move to Sunday. Sunday's game, Miami and the LA Galaxy. This one was a cracker. Hell of a game with Miami and LA. Miami gets a goal from Robbie Robinson and Gonzalo Higuain from the penalty spot. LA Galaxy, Chicharito Hernandez scores 2 goals. And Sasha Kljestan bangs home the winner in the 81st minute. LA Galaxy go into Miami's stadium, newly named stadium, DRV Pink Stadium, and a great result from the LA Galaxy. I do want to talk a little bit about Chicharito. Now, because he scored 2 goals, everybody at the MLS offices, everybody that follows MLS is going crazy. Oh, Chicharito. Oh, he scored 2 goals. Oh my God, he's amazing. Oh my God, it's the best signing ever. He's going to be great. That's exactly what he needed. He's going to be amazing. Now, slow the hell down. Just stop for a minute. It's 2 goals in 1 game. Just chill. Okay? Now, you watch these 2 goals. The goalkeeper for Miami, there's your problem, okay? Both of those goals were easily saved. McCarthy, not the best goalkeeper in the world for Miami. And yes, Chicharito was there to finish them. But again, when he does it week in and week out, then I'll start talking about it. So everybody hold your horses on Chicharito, but I think he'll be okay under the leadership of Greg Vanney. He knows how to work with these guys, with the star players. And again, I'm happy to see that Greg Vanney got the victory there over Miami in the first game. A good result there for the LA Galaxy overall. So going on the road and getting the victory, good stuff. I'll take it from LA. All right, T-Mac, how you doing? Been away from the pod for a while. Glad to see things are still going great and kept growing. Will Nick make a few cameo appearances in the future? Keep up the great work, man. Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. I don't know. we'll see. Maybe. I appreciate the kind words there. Definitely doing my best to keep things rolling here, and it's been fun. And hopefully, we'll see. Maybe Nick might join us for an episode here or there every once in a while. And then Jay, that was a good game. Vanny changed his formation at the half, made a huge difference. Yep, totally. And they are classic Chicharito goals. That's kind of what he does when he scores. But again, I need to see more of a sample size. We saw him over the entire season last season, and he was complete trash. We'll see. And again, 2020 was a COVID season, so there's always that. But we'll see how it goes over this year. All right, next game up, we've got Columbus Crew hosting the Philadelphia Union. This one, your reigning MLS Cup champions against the reigning Supporters Shield champions, and they both lay an egg. 0-0 is the final in this one. Not a very exciting game to watch. Lots of yellow cards in this one, but I just had a hard time staying into it when I was watching it. Overall possession, 52-48 for Philadelphia. Total shots, 15-12, and then shots on goal was 6-5 for Columbus. Didn't really see enough out of Columbus, and the same thing with Philly in this matchup. Again, both teams coming off big-time victories in the CCL, and I think that was once again, I think it's got to be the depth issues in MLS with what the salary cap creates, because there you go, Jay. Exactly. No one who played in CCL won their MLS games. Exactly. It's got to be the depth issues. It has to be the fact that the salary cap does not allow these teams to have enough depth. Because here you go, right? Here's a draw in this matchup. The other ones, draw or lost. And it's not a good look for MLS. But one thing that was brought up during the broadcast of this one that I kind of wanted to chat about here, and let me know in the chat what you guys think. What are your thoughts about the MLS Cup champion and the Supporters Shield champion playing each other in the beginning of the season? So they, a lot of the leagues around the world will do a special like Super Cup between the domestic cup winners, so aka the US Open Cup. But since we span two countries, can't do that. But doing a Supporters Shield against MLS Cup victory Super Cup type of thing. I think that might bring some more extra ratings in around opening weekend, or maybe bring that game in a little bit before. We'll see. I don't know, but that might be a thought. So let me know in the chat if you guys like that idea. I think it would be good. It's another opportunity for MLS to market. You all know they love to do that. But we'll see. And hey, look at this. We got a comment here from Genwil Bolandres. Just random, but can we see a Higuain and Mourinho combo? Oh, dear God. Possibly, because I'll tell you right now, Mourinho going to have a hard time getting a job in Europe. I mean, the guy has failed miserably in everything he's done pretty much since Inter Milan, which is a while back. So I don't know. I mean, that's I don't know. That's an interesting one. I mean, he might end up that might be a type of thing. If Neville's struggling in the beginning of the season in Miami, you could definitely see this happen. I think it is a possibility. A year ago, I would have thrown it right out the window, or right when, Gonzalo Higuain came over, I would have, but no, maybe we'll see. We will see. But great question there. And thanks for jumping on, Jen Wheel. Make sure you hit that like button as well as that subscribe button. And hey, Zachary Wilson, a member here on Sons of a Pitch, an American Soccer Podcast. Nice emojis there. Unfortunately, they don't come through on StreamYard. But did I miss the Montreal TFC talk? You did. Go back and watch the replay when it's finished there, Zachary. It was definitely a nightmare of a game for TFC and a great one for Montreal. Definitely put a lot of people on notice with how they played that game against TFC. So congratulations to Montreal on that one. So Jay chimes in on that one. They should do a Super Cup with the Canadian champs, Supporters Shield, US Open Cup, and MLS Cup winners. Okay, there you go. And okay, Jay says, listen, I have a Portuguese background, but never was a fan of Mourinho. He reminds me of Torts in NHL. Okay, yeah. Definitely an outspoken coach. That's for sure. All right, moving down the list, the last game to touch on before we get into some other couple other things here before we get going. Vancouver and Portland from Rio Tinto Stadium in Utah. The victory goes to the Vancouver Whitecaps, 1-0 victory over Portland. And again, there's another CCL team that did not get the victory. And there you go. MLS is going to MLS, right? I mean, how is that? How does that happen? It's got to be the depth with the salary cap. That is the issue for MLS, and it will be and will continue to be for a long time until they finally figure that out. So yes, and Jen Will, yes, the Inter Miami game was crazy. It was insane. One of the best games of the weekend, and overall, Miami ends up losing in that one to LA Galaxy 3-2. Sasha Kljestan with a goal in the 81st minute. You can watch the replay of this episode, and you'll hear my thoughts on that matchup from early. I think it was around maybe I'd say the 25th minute mark, something like that there. And then Jason, I actually watched the Whitecaps game. Portland looked tired. They did. I was surprised with how bad Portland looked for a team that came out and just took care of business against Marathon over 2 legs. They whooped them up in Honduras in the first leg. They took care of them at home very handily. It was a great game for Portland, or over the CCL games, and a really bad one against Vancouver. Although the Whitecaps did look okay, and Jay agrees. They do look better, though. Give them that. Think they'll surprise a lot of people. I think that's kind of the theme of the MLS. The first week of games is everybody's kind of like everybody that ever was expected to win didn't win. And everybody that was not expected to win came up with big wins. So I think you're going to start to see, of course, that happens in MLS all the time. It's over 1 week. CCL still going on. I think we'll see that kind of flip on and off throughout the season. You're going to have weeks where all the favorites win. You're going to have weeks when a bunch of underdogs pull off the victories, and that's how it's going to go. So those are the games here for week 1. Let's go into the winners and losers. So week 1 winners and losers. The winners for me are 2 of the 3 Canadian teams. Speaking of which, Vancouver Whitecaps are a winner. Getting a victory over Portland like that is definitely puts you on the winners list when you can beat a team that's supposedly one of the best in the West as well as in CCL. Then you've got CF Montreal really proving a lot of people wrong with that victory over TFC, albeit a very short-handed TFC. CF Montreal is another winner. And then how can you not mention the Seattle Sounders? This team expected to be a down year for them, and they came in and really did well. An honorable mention will go to Greg Vanney and the LA Galaxy on that one, but I only want to pick 3 a week, but that would be an honorable mention if we had one. So, and yeah, there's Zachary Wilson, Montreal for show. And heck yeah. And you see Zachary with that awesome loyalty badge right there. Guys, you can get in on that as well. Make sure you join the club today. $199 for the starter level, $499 for designated player level. At the starter level, you get your name featured in the scroll below me, loyalty badges and custom emojis at $4.99 a month. You're going to get all the starter perks that I just mentioned, plus your members-only lives, 1 per month, discounted merchandise, and your name in the description of the video. So join today. It helps Sons of a Pitch Soccer continue to grow the conversation in the United States and Canada, and as well, it really helps us out financially to keep the overhead costs covered and whatnot. So really appreciate that. So thanks for joining, Zachary, and everybody else who has joined on the list of our Founders Club, which again, Founders Club, here it goes, scrolling across the bottom. We've only got 4 spots left in the Founders Club. So who's going to get in on that Founders Club there? All right, now the losers for this week. How can you not say the teams that lost to Montreal and Vancouver? Toronto FC looked like garbage. Portland Timbers, same deal. They looked slow. They looked tired. They just looked bad. Another loser, Minnesota United FC. This team did okay in the first half and then just got run over like a Mack truck hit them by the Seattle Sounders there towards in the second half. So a great week for Seattle, Vancouver, and Montreal, the losers, TFC, Portland, and Minnesota. All right, so some of the games next week. to watch for, we've got Sporting Kansas City against Orlando City. I think this is another inter-conference matchup. SKC with 2 of those. Can they get a second victory for the Western Conference over Orlando? I think so. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I'll be putting out my picks and predictions probably on Wednesday, but that should be a good one to watch as well. New York City against Cincinnati. That's another one to watch there. Atlanta United against Chicago Fire. I think Atlanta is not as good as they will be this year, and Chicago looked pretty decent against New England. Portland against Houston. I think this is a big game for Houston, a big test for the Dynamo to see if they can get past Portland there. And then the LA Galaxy against the Red Bulls of New York. And that one we will be live for here on Sons of a Pitch, an American Soccer Podcast. LA Galaxy hosting New York Red Bulls on Sunday afternoon. Should be a good game. Make sure to mark your calendars, subscribe, turn your notification bell on as well so you don't miss any time we go live. And we'll be talking lots of soccer there, probably reviewing a lot of the other games as well. So make sure to join that one. All right, so I do want to touch just for a second here on the UEFA Super League, even though it's not UEFA, it's just a European Super League because it's not sanctioned by UEFA. What a crazy, crazy turn of events here in this one. 11, now 12 clubs are just straight up leaving the federation and going to join this European Super League being led by Real Madrid president Florentino Perez. This is crazy. I mean, I can see something like where you maybe do some type of tournament every year with something like this, but the fact that they're just going to walk away from their leagues, possibly UEFA Champions League as well, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be really, really crazy. And I'll tell you right now, this is the news in world football. I personally, I'm not a huge European. I'm not a huge European guy. I don't really watch much of it. I watch the odd Inter Milan game, but not a ton of European games. But there's a comment here by Jay. I watch a lot of EPL and La Liga, but I won't watch these guys if this happens. That's the thing. I think a lot of the fans are pissed. They're really, really pissed off about this. And I agree. I think it does look like a cash grab. It does look like it's all about the greed. And it's going to be interesting to see how FIFA will regulate this, because FIFA's kind of taking this stance of, they're the most, pure footballing, it's all because of this. It's all because, it's just, you can't do that when you got caught for all that corruption and all that kind of stuff. FIFA's not that, stop it with that crap. So I don't know why they're taking that route on things, but overall, I think it could benefit MLS. As Jay says, it could really benefit MLS because the rest of the leagues around the world will drop significantly. If you take out Inter Milan, AC Milan, and Juventus from the Serie A, nobody's watching Serie A. That turns into a league like the Norwegian league, okay? Nobody's tuning in to watch Napoli play Sassuolo outside of Italy. So I think if this does happen, this will really benefit MLS. And again, as Jen Will says, this isn't for the fans, it's for the owners. Totally. It's straight for the pocketbook. And although I will give a little bit to the fans, because if you're lining up Real Madrid against Inter Milan, and then, Atletico Madrid against Chelsea, Barcelona against Liverpool, Juventus against Manchester United, week in and week out, that will benefit the fans, because the fans are going to see the best footballing teams in the world going at it every single week. So that will benefit the fans, but it's mostly about the money. We all know it's about the money. It's a cash grab. And yeah, there you go. Zachary says they're saying the players who participate can't play in UEFA tournaments. So lots of good USA players lost. That would affect a few of them. The Serginho Dest, Christian Pulisic, among others. And it's going to be Oh, it's going to affect. It's going to make things crazy. It's really going to make things crazy. And one thing it will affect is the World Cup in 2026 in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. If this thing does launch in 2023, 2024, and then these players aren't allowed to participate in the World Cup, that could really make things interesting for the 2026 World Cup here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So overall, from what I'm seeing about it, I'm against it. I don't like it. I don't like it just because it seems like a bit of a cash grab, but overall it could benefit MLS a lot. So those are my thoughts in there, Jay. Great idea there. We need Ronaldo or Messi to come out and stand against this. Yeah, that would definitely help if you get one of the best players in the world. And if you've seen Florentino Perez comments earlier, he's really trying to make a spin with this. Totally. Josh says, I can't see this lasting more than a couple of years at most. Seems like it will get old fast. Yeah, if it's only 12 clubs, you got a great point there, Josh. It's if you only have these 12 clubs, it's going to be playing them constantly, and it will wear down for sure. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Sons of a Pitch, an American Soccer Podcast, guys. A great show. Thank you all for joining. If you have not done so already, if you're new here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on your notification bell as well so you don't miss it when we go live. I will be live on Sunday for LA Galaxy and the Red Bulls of New York, doing the play-by-play and reaction for that one as well. Picks and predictions coming at you probably on Wednesday would be my guess. And hey, just as a thought for the podcast side, if you're listening on the podcast, shoot us an email. If you want to hear my picks and predictions that I do on YouTube actually go out on the podcast side, or if you just come over to YouTube and watch it anyway. So let me know. Shoot an email over to podcast@sonsofapitchsoccer.com, and let me know if you want to hear those MLS picks and predictions going forward on the podcast side of things. So all right, guys. Hey, there's Ramon Pablano. Hey, everyone. Hi, Mike. Hey, Ramon. Check your Twitter DMs, man. Or not Twitter. God, what is it? Reddit. I sent you a message there on Reddit. So glad to have you hanging out there, Ramon. And as we're walking away here from the end of this episode, but I owe you, Ramon. I owe you an LAFC game, my man. You do much better play-by-play than Ryan. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, I'm out of here. I got to get this thing uploaded to the podcast side. Look out on Wednesday for picks and predictions, maybe even Thursday, depending on how this week goes, because it is kind of crazy. And we will talk to you all very, very soon. Thanks for watching and listening. See you, everybody. Have a great night.